So the question is, do we vlog today? Maybe. Probably. I mean, I'm talking to the camera, ain't I? You know, some days we come to Bellagio to kind of play around. We ain't playing around today. I'm stating that up front. Not today. So here we are, ready for battle and looking at a table of mostly unknowns. Perfect. The room is beyond packed. The WSOP is back. This game just opened, the table is in full when I play this first hand, and we're five-handed. The small blind opens to $50. 5x, a ridiculous size that will basically just achieve me folding all my weakest continues and punishing him with my stronger hands. My original card peel wasn't recorded, but I'm holding ace-jack offsuit, which is borderline. I mean, I'm definitely continuing and debating on just making it $150 to get this party started. But I don't know this guy. Don't know how he plays just yet. I don't know anything. I find the call. 10 of clubs, 5 of spades, 9 of spades. He checks and, meh, I check it back with my 2 overs. Ace of diamonds. Okay, I have a pair. Nice. He leads for $70. His large opening size and now lead when the ace hits gives me some pause. Maybe I don't have the best hand. Ace queen and ace king are lingering out there for sure, but folding heads up here is out of the question, even to his 2/3 sizing. I call. The river 3 of clubs falls and he leads again, $90. I was honestly expecting a bigger bet to come my way after his turn bet. The 3 of clubs doesn't really change anything. Really. His block sizing is giving me weak ace or misdraw vibes. Easy call. And quick loss when he turns over ace of clubs, 9 of diamonds for 2 pair. Wow. I kinda got off easy there. What you will find a lot of during the WSOP is that players just do things. They just bet stuff. All kinds of stuff. I'll show you what I mean. Action folds to me and I open to $30 from the button with king queen offsuit. The big blind defends. 10 of diamonds, king of clubs, 8 of clubs. The big blind checks and holding top pair with a good kicker, great. This particular flop though could be dangerous. There are a lot of big blind holdings that have equity here and could just be lurking around. Ace jack, queen jack, jack 9, pair plus draw, etc. There are a ton of them. I size up to $40. You can't see this because my hand's in the way, like I've never vlogged a poker session before, but he calls again. The turn brings the deuce of clubs and now he leads for $100. Strange lead, especially for that size. Interesting. I'm obviously not folding. I have top pair and a club just in case. I call the $100. The river deuce of spades pairs the board and he quickly checks. I rate to have the best hand here. Flushes probably aren't checking. Flop 2 pair probably would have check raised, but probably having the best hand doesn't mean I can bet. I still have to find hands here that would lead the turn and will call me that I can beat. A king with a random club, maybe? I don't know. It's close. I check behind and win this one versus 9-7 offsuit. No club. Wow. Bro is defending the big blind pretty wide. For the most part, at least so far, the table has been playing extremely straightforward. Here, the under the gun player limps, and upon the action being folded to the button raises to $40. Knowing that limp re-raises aren't often happening, I easily call the $40 from the big blind with King 10 offsuit. The original under the gun limper also calls the $40, and so he might as well just show us which pocket pair he has, threes or fours. Deuce, king, deuce, rainbow. Out of position and not the pre-flop raiser, I check. The under the gun player, who has now probably missed flopping a set, checks, and the button tosses out a $40 c-bet. I call, of course, since I see little merit in check raising. The under the gun player snap folds. Heads up on the turn, the jack of clubs appears. I check again, and the button now checks behind. Since I don't think he is the type of player to flop top pair and then bet flop, but then check the turn for deception, I'm about 99.9% sure that I'm not only ahead here, but way ahead. If I'm lucky, he turned a jack. The river 3 of spades is a blank. Out of pure curiosity, I do glance to my left to see if the already folded under the gun limping player is silently cursing his luck by folding too early, but I don't pick up anything. With the betting lead up for grabs and not wanting the river to go check check, I lead for $70, again hoping our villain has a jack. He doesn't take too long with it before calling. I expose my hand and his hits the muck. Probably a jack. So far, things appear to be going pretty well, right? Well, the wheels are about to come off. Slowly at first. The player to my right isn't dealt in this hand, so I'm under the gun and open to $20 with ace-queen offsuit. A hand strong enough to open from such an early position. The player next to act calls, the hijack calls, and the small blind calls. That makes 4. Queen, 6, deuce with 2 diamonds. The small blind checks, and this queen-high, uncoordinated board is a pretty good sight for a person holding ace-queen, don't you think? I continue for $25. The low jack calls, there's a fold, and the small blind also calls. Now there's 3. The 7 of diamonds appears on the turn and the small blind checks. This card, bringing in the front door diamonds, isn't my favorite, but it is what it is. I continue for $50 and get quickly raised by the I haven't raised a single thing all day low jack to $240. What is this? Is this the bluff? Is that what you think it is? It's not. Both the small blind and myself quickly find the exit. I mentioned the wheels coming off, right? This next hand starts with me opening King Jack offsuit from under the gun to $20. This open, from this position, in a full ring game with these personalities is already questionable. But in the big scheme of this hand, this is the last play I'll make that is semi-okay. From here, it just gets bad. The low jack calls and the button, a very active player, raises to $80. At this point, I should just fold. My hand is questionable to begin with, and although his raise size is lacking, I really don't want to 4-bet this hand, and calling is horrid. So what do? I call, of course, because I fall into the classic, well, I'll just outplay him post-flop mindset trap. The low jack calls, and all 3 of us see a flop. King, deuce, 4, rainbow. Yes. Got him. I'm just going to let him do his thing, which is blast off all 3 streets. I check, now holding top pair with a good kicker. The low jack checks, and the button continues for another $80. Easy call by me. The low jack folds. The turn pairs the deuce and adds a backdoor flush draw. Still, no worries. Check. Now the button fires again. $110, which is a pretty small bet, all things considered. Another easy call. The river is a beauty. It's the jack of clubs. So had I been worried about being outkicked on earlier streets by ace-king or king-queen, I no longer have those worries. Go ahead, sir. Blast off. I check to him for a final time, and he obliges. $320. Why I don't check raise here, I'm not quite sure, because this is the type player that would just call me with like King 10. But thank God I didn't. I call, and he shows me how finding 3-bets with pocket fours preflop works. I should have just folded pre.
Not that hard, is it? Is it truly so burdensome? Thou simply dost wager, and then wager yet again. You just bet, and you keep betting. 'Tis what I have proclaimed from the beginning. Wherefore then am I chastised for it?
Currently, I'm stuck. Not super stuck, but just regular down a little bit stuck. No big deal. It happens. I just need to refocus and get back to battle. The cutoff opens to $30, and I look down at ace-10 suited from the small blind. Great. Definitely punishing this guy. He's opening way too much with way too many hands. Oh, wait. The button has just 3-bet to $100. The button has been kind of tightish and definitely not getting out of line here. I'm not flatting with this hand at this stack depth. Fold. Next hand, I look down at pocket jacks from the button. Same player, now on the hijack, opens to $30 again, and the cutoff folds. Conditions are perfect. I 3-bet to $100, and he calls. Ace-5-4 rainbow. This flop leaves a bit to be desired. The hijack checks, I check it back. 10 of diamonds. The hijack checks again. I check it back. 7 of hearts. Now he leads for $140, still holding his entire super wide preflop calling range. Normally his sizing would give me a bit of pause, but I've seen him bluff rivers earlier in the session for large sizes, holding almost nothing. I have a pair, and a decent one. I call. And lose to ace-deuce offsuit. button opens to $30, and like I said before, he's been opening really wide. Looking down at Ace Jack of Hearts, I'm ready for battle. But the small blind jumps in before I can. He 3-bets to $140. Ace Jack of Hearts can perform well here, but not the way I played it. Not by calling. I should have 4-bet. This hand is a lot more profitable that way. The button folds, and we're heads up headed to the flop. King 6 Queen with the Queen of Hearts. The small blind continues for $80, and this isn't a horrible flop for my hand. I mean, it's obviously not the best in the world, but there are things to work with here. I call the $80. Things get better when the 5 of Hearts appears on the turn. The small blind now checks, and I briefly consider stabbing, but that could end badly if he check raises me. I check it back. The Queen of Diamonds River, annoying. Very annoying. The small blind leads again, $160, and sure, I could find hero calls here, because there's a fair chunk of miss this and miss that's that he could have, and it's possible ace high could just be good. But I've learned the hard way how most of these hero calls work out. Fold.
Yes, you straddle.
Oh, he straddled.
Yeah. So you have to hit it to 20.
Today, I'm just not mentally in it. Not focusing. Hell, I didn't even see the straddle, and it was clear as day. Sometimes it's just best to wrap it up and battle again another time. So I color up some of my chips via my neighbor and head out.